Hi everybody, this is Roxy, and I just wanted to share some avocado dyeing that I've been doing. I saw an article from Somerset Studio about a month or so ago, and it brought me back to junior high and high school when I took summer art classes, and we had a teacher from our rival high school. She was incredible, and she had us dyeing our own fibers, making our own looms to weave. When we did pottery, we went out on a little walking field trip to a local area that had clay soil, dug up our own clay and made like pinch pots and slab pottery, all kinds of really cool stuff. And she taught us how to dye with natural materials. We used dandelions, which gives kind of a pale olive color. Just really pretty. Turmeric, which is more of a golden yellow. Onion skins, and that gets kind of like a rusty color, almost like a soft dark orange, but pale. And then blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. We did rose petals, marigold flowers, which is a gorgeous. I think I like the turmeric yellow better, but the marigolds is a really pretty kind of yellow with the tint of orange. So anyways, I heard about the avocados. We hadn't done that. I think that was early when avocados hadn't yet hit our area up here in the north. It was more kind of a California thing. So we didn't do avocados, but I used the pits. I just saved a bunch, and a friend saved a bunch. And how I did it, I washed them and put them in a Ziploc bag and then stuck them in the fridge. And I also heard since then that you can freeze the pits and the skins and use both to make some dye. You'd want to wash them both up so you don't have any too much organic stuff on your papers or whatever. So after cleaning them and collecting them, all I did was take a stainless steel kettle. That's probably the best product you'd want to use because it won't stain. I did get a stain around the rim at the top of the water level, but I used Barkeeper's Friend from Dollar Tree and it wiped right off. So don't be afraid of stainless. I put it on a boil, or brought it to boil the pits and the water, and I used about probably 3 quarts of water in my kettle, and I think about 12 pits. Some of them that my friend had were like really tiny little balls, which is weird. We hadn't seen it before. And then brought that to boil, and while it was boiling, I started putting my paper items in. Like most of it's from manila colored paper, and just started putting these in like just gently, before it got too boiling, because you don't want it to, curl up the paper and that. And then once it came to boil, I turned it down to a simmer, and I just kind of gently stirred once in a while with the silicone, one of those silicone spatulas, the Betty Crocker ones from Dollar Tree. I wouldn't use metal. I did try. I was going to use a skewer, and when was it? Here it is. I right away skewered a hole in it, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of grungy, but I just used the spatula and just real gently try to keep things from not sticking together or sticking along the back of the pan. And it took about an hour, maybe hour and a half, and I got a lot of variation of colors. I love it. Plus, I took all the papers out, and then I let the dye bath cool down, and I kept it, and I'm going to store it for a while and see when I do it again with more avocado pits and maybe skins this time. I'll use that for my water to start and see how it goes. I'm also going to try, I did try one piece of paper, or 2 actually, and it was the 80-pound paper from Hobby Lobby, which is not, 110. This is 110, but if you are familiar with the Nina Solar White 110, it's not even close. The Nina Solar White's about 2 of these or 3 pieces of this for stiffness. But this is how they came out. They just totally fell apart. I'll still use this, like with a collage. But that didn't hold up at all. But I do want to do copy paper. So I think what I'm going to do is, because when I do coffee stain, it doesn't have to be hot. You could start out, like I might boil this, the saved water dye I have, boil it up a little bit, and then put it in my big pan that I stain my paper in, and let the paper kind of just float around, soak it up, whatever. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and let you know how that goes. Anyways, it's a gorgeous color. I hope this is really picking it up, because it is so pretty. It's like a rosy, almost to a, I don't know what. But it's really pretty, and I love how that kind of stuff happens. And oddly enough, it didn't dye evenly on each side, which is odd, because I made sure they weren't sticking to anything. Isn't that weird? They're a lot darker on the one side, but they're so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Almost an orangey rose, especially that. It's just a really gorgeous rose color, but it almost gets a little bit, teeny bit, I don't know, a feeling of orange. Almost like an orangey kind of undertone. See, that's where one of these must have been sitting on it. But I don't mind that. I like all that variation. Isn't that pretty? Now that's solid through. And really soft. But that's what I love. It just, each one took it differently. That's cool with all the... And then these. Look at that one compared to the rest. And some of these lost their reinforcements. We lost our reinforcements, General. That's cool. I love that. I hope the color is really picking up. And this is so weird. 2 of these did that. I don't get it. How, like, what happened? But I'll still use it. It's cool. See, that did it too. But it's so ghosty looking, and I love it. See, there's somebody's reinforcer. I love that. The string, I'm just loving it. Love, love, love. So if you haven't done it, do it. But come summer, there's a lot of greens. Any kind of greens will give you a, as in leaves, plants. It'll give you a color. Like the dandelions, we used the flowers and the bottoms to get the pale olive color. And it was kind of cool. And it smells awful, or not as nice as this. This had no smell. That's really pretty. See, that looks a little more orangey than these other ones. It's just so crazy. It's all separate. They're all different, though. It's just weird. And it's all the same cardstock. I think this was... this might have been a little... I got these from Yoli. It's a lot thinner, but it's still kind of a manila. But see, it's a little different color. So there you have it. That's why it came out different. And then the larger ones, they were a little too big for the pan. So they're still usable. And then I also got these from Yolanda. Yoli bean. And these were fun. Like, who knows what? That must have been a pit. One of the pits. Oh, and that was another weird thing about the pits. They kind of broke in half. And then you can see the inside of their tummies. See, that's cool. So whatever that was, sat on both of them for a while. A really cool project. It was so much fun. I love it. Then I took some of my laces, or whatever you call these things. Remember all these we used to get? This was from Making Memories. And that's what it started out, kind of it's almost a yellow, but it's, cream, but it's a real yellowy color. And then look at that variation. This is polyester, so it didn't take a lot of color, but I think enough with just the tips of it. And I mean, it's still a rose color now. Then I had some of this, and I cut that up. Cut a piece of this up. Again, that's polyester. This actually took it really well. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it. I might do the rest of it, although I should save it for other colors. Like rose petals will give you a really beautiful red, if they're red roses, that is. You can try. And marigolds are gorgeous. You should try those. I mean, just get a marigold plant, because you don't need a whole too much. Isn't that pretty? And then the best is the last. My seam binding. I couldn't stop looking at this. It's such a pale rose. It's so beautiful. I love all the variations. This is like perfection. Variegated perfection. Isn't that nice? I love it. It's just gorgeous. So, I hope you give it a try. If not, you're missing out. And then just let me know what you think if you do it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't.